are doing well. Welcome to Toronto. I guess the last time you guys saw me, I was in the Maritimes in Fredericton, so I have been back for a few weeks now, and in a couple weeks, I will be heading to Southeast Asia. So that is going to be a whole new adventure. Well, kind of new. I was there last year. I will be going to some new places. But yeah, very excited to be doing that soon. Hello to John's Journeys. Thank you so much for coming out. Munir, Durf, Irvin, Claude, Suman. Thank you all so much for coming out, David. As always, guys, I'd love to know where you're from and what time it is wherever you are, because we got people from all over the world which come to these, which is so fun. Ali BHG asks, have you seen any other Toronto YouTubers? I have a friend who's a YouTuber, but not anybody else, I don't think, that does YouTube that I don't know. I know Johnny Strides. I know Johnny Strides does a lot of live stream content, kind of similar to what I'm going to be doing today, but I don't know him personally. As far as other YouTubers, not a lot, Actually, if you guys have any recommendations of Toronto YouTubers, I'd actually love to hear it, because I'm sure there are a lot of creators, but I mainly know people that do like Instagram or TikTok here in Toronto. Oh, Sumant says he's here from Johnny Stride's channel. Okay, amazing. Hello to Michael. Hello to Sarah. Thank you for coming out again. We got Bob from Florida. We got Kareem. We got Hussein from Montreal. Amazing. And Durf says, I'm heading to the Philippines, Bali, and Singapore. That sounds amazing. Hope you have a fabulous trip. We got Moxa from Iran. Ralph says you need to get you need to head to a warmer location to get rid of this thick jacket. Yeah, well, this guy is actually going to be coming with me on the plane, first of all, because it is actually quite chilly on planes. But in Hanoi, it's about 20 degrees, so like not cold, but I remember being there last time when it was 20 degrees, and for some reason it felt much colder. So I think Hanoi, the first place that we're going, will be one of the colder places that we go. We're also going to go into the mountains in northern Vietnam. So I think I will actually utilize this sort of fall jacket in the first part of my trip, but then for sure I'm going to have to get rid of it, because it's going to be like 25, 30 degrees and all the other places we go to. So one sec, guys. The heck. Got Boom from San Francisco. John's in Amsterdam right now, lucky. Polly Skirt from Australia. Silvio, hello, from Rio, Brazil. Junaid from Karachi, Pakistan. My God, I'm always like so impressed what a wide range of people we have in these live streams. It is so cool. Big hello to Jim Ross. Thank you so much for coming out, and thank you so much for the PayPal, Jim. I did get that earlier. Really appreciate it as always, and hope you are doing great. I am excited to get our walk started here soon. Amazing. And we got Carl from Toronto, so we got a local here in the mix as well. And Sumant is from Markham, Ontario. Fabulous. And hello to Michael. Thank you guys so much for coming out. So guys, to get things started, I am sitting in a lovely park here in Leslieville. Let me know if anybody is actually familiar with the neighborhoods that I'm going to be sharing in the video today. This is in the eastern part of Toronto, and actually quite close to the area that I am living in the past couple of weeks, and where I will be until I leave. And I wanted to have this experience of living in the East End of Toronto because I really never have. I've only explored this area you know, by foot on the weekends, mainly I guess in the beaches area. But Leslieville and Riverside, Riverside. There's also Riverdale, but Riverside, which is on Queen, which we'll be walking past, are considered to be some of the best neighborhoods to live in Toronto, especially if you have a family, because it is a much quieter and just, you know, very nice, very family friendly in every way sort of neighborhood. There's a lot of great schools here, a lot of playgrounds, as there's one behind me. So this is actually considered as a great place to live in Toronto. And like I said, much quieter, because if you lived in the West End, you know, it gets pretty rowdy there. Whether you live on King, Queen, Dundas, you know, it's going to be a little bit rowdier. So the East End is definitely quieter. Carl says East End has the best diversity and prices for everything. Now, I don't know if I agree with you on the prices, because prices in Toronto tend to be high no matter where you are. But yes, I will say that, you know, this is a very beautiful and diverse part of the city. Thank you so much for the super chat, Sarah. That is so kind of you. Hi, Alina. I hope you're doing well. My Vietnam trip got canceled, sadly. I'm mostly sad about not being able to meet you. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, it would have been great to meet for a coffee there. But if, you know, you happen to be in Southeast Asia, anywhere else later in the year, let me know. It would be lovely to meet up sometime. But I hope you get to go either way at some point, because Southeast Asia definitely has so much to offer. But thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for coming out and supporting my channel as always. Jim says, although I've heard about them via TV, don't know much about them, so you're introducing them to me. Winning. Happy to hear it, Jim. Yes, you are getting your first experience of Toronto. As you said, you haven't been here before, but hopefully after watching these live streams, when you do finally come here, you'll be able to walk around here like a pro already. Hello to Rob Ned. Thank you for coming out. Is it expensive in the East End? Yes, it is. Everything is expensive here in Toronto, guys. Let me get up and walk and talk at the same time. And to be honest, that's one of the main reasons of why I am, in a way, excited to be leaving Canada in general. Because when I look back on like how much money I have spent in the last, like, I guess I've been here almost 6 months, like how much more money I've spent here in comparison to, you know, if I was in Eastern Europe or Southeast Asia, as I'll be, like, it makes me a little sick to my stomach, if I'm being honest, because it's even worse than I thought it would be when I first came here. It's definitely worse than last year when I went to, you know, Vancouver and stuff. I can't imagine, you know, living here full time at this point in time without being somebody who invented. Oh, is this going to be a long live stream? I'm getting tongue twisted. I'm trying to say by not being someone who's invested in real estate already. Like maybe if you already have paid your home outright and don't have that high of expenses, it's just, you know, groceries and, you know, the other things you buy that have gone up in price, then maybe Canada would be reasonable. But as somebody who has yet to invest in property, unless I want to live in a small town, it's pretty bleak, I will say that, unfortunately. Let me flip the camera though here, guys. So this is, what street is this? This is Jones Avenue, and I wanted to start here because I really like that mural of Leslieville. It's been here a really long time, but I think it's super well done. And we are actually going to head west first. I walked all the way out here only to walk all the way back, but I think that will be most aesthetically pleasing to then go up through the Eastern Chinatown that we have here, and also Riverdale Park, and then we'll get to like Greektown and the Danforth area. So I thought that this would be the best way to do this live stream. We've got this lovely park here in the more residential part of the city. on. We're just gonna make a quick little loop here. Happy YouTube channel says, hey Alina, I have heard Alberta is relatively cheaper province to live and work. Well, yes, I guess in many ways it still is. That is the province that, you know, in the last few years that I live in and would recommend, Calgary specifically. But I think everybody took that suggestion, and I hear that Calgary is becoming extremely expensive with rent and purchasing real estate as well. Of course, not at all on the level of Toronto, but because so many people have left and went there, now they're kind of facing their own housing crisis. So I don't know for how much longer, you know, Alberta will be able to be semi-affordable. Or who knows, like maybe they'll get it under control and maybe they will be able to build enough housing to kind of bring down the prices. That's what I can hope anyway. Big thank you to Harriet, Jim, and Yuki, Costas World of Music. As always, thank you guys so much for coming out. Hello, Alina. Hope you're doing okay. We got your postcard from Peggy's Cove. Thank you so much. That's fantastic. I'm happy to hear it, guys. Before I leave, first part of November, I will be sending the postcards that I bought in Prince Edward Island. So look out for those. And then the ones after that will be from probably Hanoi. Because the last time that I was in Vietnam, I sent cards from Ho Chi Minh. But we're not going to be going to the south of the country. We're going to be staying just in the north. So I will be sending cards from Hanoi most likely. So keep an eye out for that. So thank you guys so much for coming out. Just gonna flip the camera here. So this is Queen Street East, by the way. This is one of the, probably other than the Danforth, and sorry about the wind, guys. I hope it's not too bad. It's a very, very windy day today. Other than the Danforth, otherwise Bloor Street, this would probably be the most famous street in the East End, just because there are so many different businesses like Dave's Hot Chicken here on Queen Street. And if you do go all the way east, and I was considering that actually, if you go all the way east, you will get to the beaches area, like Woodbine Beach and all of that. But that's like a good hour-long walk down that way. So if we were going to do all the other neighborhoods, that would be a 3-hour-long live stream. So, you know, that's a bit too long. But yeah, if you wanted to spend a whole day just walking all of Queen East, all the way from Riverside to the beaches, then that would actually be quite a great walk as well. So a lot to see and do in this area. Oh, actually, do you guys want to see the dollhouse? Does anybody know what I'm talking about when I say the dollhouse? I did actually pop it into my East End video, if any of you watched it, but we are right on the corner where it is. I think we should. Let's do it. It's, I consider it an attraction of Toronto, even though it is somebody's house, and hopefully they're not like sitting outside or something. But it's a unique piece of real estate, what they've chosen to do with it. So let's go take a look here. Oh, hello to April. Thank you so much for coming out. Oh, and we got Rig here from Bloor West Village. It's windy, but a really beautiful fall day. Hope you get to show your viewers some fall colors on a side street, perhaps. Perfect suggestion, exactly what I'm going to do now. And thank you so much for coming out. I do miss my neighborhood of the month before in Bloor West Village. It was great to live in that area when I first got here. But you know, one thing that I don't know if I just didn't notice it as much when I actually was living in Toronto at like Jarvis and Wellesley, or maybe it was because I was a bit more like downtown, more centrally located. But now, having lived way out on the West End, and then where I'm living now, it's not super East End, but it's East End enough. And my God, like it takes so long to get across, you know, the city or to even parts of downtown. Almost all of my commutes have been like 45 minutes to an hour. somehow I just don't remember it being that long when I lived here. Or I don't know, maybe I was going to closer places, but the commutes lately have been crazy. Perfect segue. Look at this, guys. This is what I wanted to show you. This is the dollhouse, as it is known, and you can literally put in dollhouse into Google Maps and this place will come up. And maybe any locals, if you know, like, could you tell me why the people here did this? You know, do they just, is this just fun for them? Or they have just like a collection of dolls? But it changes, because I just realized from the last time that I was here, this wasn't all here. So they've put up, you know, some Halloween dolls for the occasion. And then there's some other new ones too that I didn't realize before. So if anybody knows the story behind this place, I would love to hear it. But it would take a lot of work, that I know for sure, to like tape all of this up together. And this is also year round, so as you can probably see, some of the dolls, you know, are kind of weathered from the snow and sleet and wind and everything. Poor Mickey does not look like he's in very good shape. But yeah. What a unique place here in Leslieville. Oh wow, this wish is actually terrifying looking. That is scary as well. Jesus, they found some really scary looking dolls. Interesting. And if you guys had to guess, like, what age do you think the people living here are? For some reason, I feel like they're older. Like, maybe this could be younger people, but for some reason, I think these people are older, if I had to guess. Just a hunch. Interesting. All right, let's head on back to Queen Street. And yes, Indian Mastiff, it is a private house. It is not a museum. Oh. Ftihia says there's a house similar to this on Coxwell right after MGH. Really? Don't think I've ever seen that one. Interesting. I mean, that would be some upkeep. Some people choose to have gardens, some people choose to have flowers, other people choose to have a dollhouse. So hey, you know, whatever floats your boat. Oh, Carl says older Italians live at that dollhouse home. Interesting. Yeah, for some reason I thought they would be older. To Jean Oliveira, yes, unfortunately the quality here for YouTube live streaming is 720 and can sometimes even unfortunately get a little bit worse. Please send a complaint to YouTube, because unfortunately I can't make it better if I'm doing the kind of walk and talks. The only way to get a higher live stream resolution is if I had a separate camera and then connected it to my computer and had like a Wi-Fi for my internet. Because unfortunately in this way, I've tried through other third-party systems and it just hasn't worked as good as the original YouTube one. So unfortunately, this is the best we got until YouTube upgrades their system. Thank you very much to Dina for your kind comment. И здравствуйте, Dmitry. Thank you for coming out. Oh, actually, I have something to share for you guys. I'm going to post it on my Instagram later because I haven't posted it. So yesterday, I was hanging out with my friend Brian and we went all the way to Steeles Avenue, like all the way up north. I haven't been up in that area, gosh, in at least 5 or 6 years because it does take such a long time to get up there. But I wanted to go up there because there was a Georgian restaurant, like the country Georgia, up there And I swear I've never seen a Georgian restaurant in all of Toronto before. Like, that is the kind of Russian area of Toronto, but I don't remember ever seeing a Georgian restaurant. So yesterday we went up there and it was just spectacular, and it made me realize how much I miss Eastern European food, you know, because really the only time I get to eat it is if I'm in that area of the world or if my mom is cooking for me. So to, you know, cook on my own and try and get those kinds of ingredients in the kind of places I travel to, you know, like Southeast Asia, nah, not so much, and it takes a lot of work. So it was such a treat yesterday to have some, you know, like beet salad and hachapuri, khinkali, like, oh my gosh, it was amazing. So if you guys are looking for good Eastern European food, all of that is up north. Like, it's all up in North York, which makes me so sad because I wish it'd be here in the more like downtown part of Toronto. Oh, my friend Ryan is here, and Ryan can attest how delicious it was. So yes, thank you. Amazing. Just reading your comments here, guys. Okay, I'm gonna flip the camera as I read them just to give you guys a view. Timo actually asks, are you going to Europe anytime soon? I hope so. I'm actually hoping for next summer to head to primarily Eastern Europe, because it has been now, I guess, literally just before the war started in Ukraine. It has been basically 2 years since I was last there. So of course I miss my family, and, you know, I just miss the culture of, you know, the post-Soviet kind of countries. I feel very at home when I visit all of those countries. I'd even really like to visit like Uzbekistan and Tajikistan and Kazakhstan again. You know, Central Asia, I guess, would be another one of my priorities for, you know, my trips after Southeast Asia. I'm primarily going to Southeast Asia again, since I was there last year, because my dad really wants to go again. And, you know, I don't really get to spend that much time with him throughout the year. And, you know, for farmers, they're very busy in the spring and the fall. So, you know, the winter is really the best time for my dad to get off. And he wanted to go to Southeast Asia. So I was like, you know, let's do it. So, you know, want to prioritize my family first. And it'll probably be in the summer when I head out on a new adventure, so to say. Oh, but speaking of, somebody, Dunu, just made the comment, come to Sri Lanka. I will come to Sri Lanka because I just booked, I think 1 week ago, my ticket there to Colombo from Bangkok on Valentine's Day. I booked it for February 14th. I'm going to be flying down there, and then my birthday is shortly after, because I found $100 ticket there, which is amazing considering it's like a 3-hour flight. What is happening here? I hope that music isn't copywritten. So yeah, I am actually going to be going to Sri Lanka for the first time. I've never been there in February. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know. To flip here. So we are at Pape Avenue here in Leslieville. The part that's kind of confusing about Queen Street East is, where does Leslieville officially end and where does Riverside begin? I actually don't know. Hello to the lovely Brianna. Thank you so much for coming out. Buenos Aires needs you. Oh, thank you so much. I would love to go to Argentina sometime. Interesting. And true, Funky Child, once you go to Southeast Asia, you get addicted to the culture and food. Totally agree. There is just so many amazing things about Southeast Asia that I can't imagine going there and not falling in love. Thank you, Jim. You and Ryan have to keep walking because you find amazing restaurants and food wherever you've been. Walking is the only reason you guys aren't house-sized. Hey, now. I mean, that's probably true. We do eat a lot, but we do walk a lot, so it all balances out. I may go to Manila again, April. I will try my best. We'll just have to see how the ticket situation is, because sometimes, you know, some tickets in Southeast Asia will be incredibly budget friendly, and other ones, depending on where you're flying from or, you know, just the dates you need, tend to be like super expensive. So it all kind of depends what the ticket situation is. So if I go to Manila, I will definitely let you know. Would be lovely to see you. Pavia says come to Greenland. Now that would be an adventure. That would be very different, I'm sure, than all the places I've been so far. Oh, this is one of my favorite coffee shops here in the East End. Pilot Coffee Roasters. Really lovely place. And just further on down there, there's a place called Mercury Espresso. Also very good coffee. That's kind of the nice thing of the area that I'm living now, is I literally step outside my door and within a 10-minute walk, I'd say, I have like 4 fantastic cafe shops to choose from. So it makes getting out of the house and, you know, working from a different environment, because sometimes it, you know, gets boring just working from my room day in and day out. So it's really nice to have such a wide array of like coffee shops and restaurants in this area. One of the many benefits of living here on Queen Street East. And there's a lot of, I think one of these ones, or maybe we already passed it, but there's also like a cycling shop down here that is really cool. There are a few gyms down here. That's well, maybe we are officially in Riverdale now. So it says South Riverdale Community Health Center. So a lot of social kind of community centers here as well, which is nice. Shiva Balin asks, have you been to Poland before? I have actually, but very long time ago. That would have been 13, 14 years ago probably. I went to Krakow and also that mountain town called Zakopane, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It was very beautiful. But then, of course, we also took some day trips to the salt mine and also the very tragic, you know, Auschwitz concentration camps. A very harrowing experience. But that's it. Like, we only spent, I think, about a week and a half in Poland, and that was before I had a YouTube channel. So I would love to go back and explore the country more, because I think, you know, any country in Eastern Europe I'm probably going to be a fan of. So Poland has a lot more for me to discover. Reliable fish and chips, established in 1930. Wow, that's actually quite impressive. Any restaurant to last in Toronto for more than a few years, honestly, is impressive. Aw. Thank you so much to Rahul for the super chat. That is so kind of you. Thank you so much for the cute super sticker as well. Hope you are doing well and enjoying this beautiful fall weather. I'm actually a little bit sad that yesterday was a bit depressing when I was out, but today is like perfect. I wish every day could be this nice. So hope it is beautiful wherever you are today. So thank you so much for coming out. Nigel asks, if you had the opportunity of going to the moon, would you go? Totally free and full astronaut training given. That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think it would freak me out, to be honest, as cool as the experience would be. Is it super windy, guys? Let me know. I unfortunately can't do much other than kind of hold my hand beside the speakers, but the wind is just nuts today. No, you know, to be honest with the whole moon thing, unless they develop a way that it's not so hard on your body, I don't think I would do it. Like, the kind of training that you'd have to go through, even if it was free, would be so exhausting on every single level, so I wouldn't do it. I'm good here on land. Even just doing the Drake's Passage, you know, how people get to Antarctica, which for the longest time I thought would be something I'd like to do, I don't think I want to do. After seeing people do TikToks about what that boat, if you can call it a boat, what that boat ride is like, nope, I'm good. Don't need to see Antarctica if that's what I have to go through. Like, I'm good. Like the people that, you know, have a goal of I have to see every single country, you know, in the world. That's, you know, the thing that I want to achieve in my life. I, as somebody who wants to travel a lot, like it's not that important to me, because there's genuinely some places that I think would be so challenging to either get to or are actually genuinely dangerous, that you really would be risking your life going to, especially alone. So I'm good. Like, I'm just gonna go to the places that are at least fairly safe and where I'm welcome, and that don't, you know, fire. Oh my god, what is this wind? Holy hell, this is wild. And that don't require risking your life, ideally. So that is my answer to that. Okay, amazing. Let me flip the camera, because right in front of me is a cool little place. This is the Red Sandcastle Theatre. I went here way back in the day, probably 10 years ago as well. I brought my mom here when she was visiting me in Toronto, and we watched some kind of, you know, little cool indie play. It's a much, you know, smaller theater than anything downtown, but I remember them having good shows. So if you're looking to support like a small local theater, this is a cute little place. We got Value Village over here. That was Mercury Espresso, one of my favorite coffee shops right at the corner that I was talking about before. Nut Bar is supposed to be like the hot new place to get like healthy food at, basically, but it's super expensive. I actually haven't gone there yet. And then at that corner is another one of my favorite places, is the Purple Penguin. I used to go there all the time for breakfast, because they're right on the corner of Logan Avenue, and there used to be a casting agency that was just down a few blocks. So whenever I was like waiting to audition, I would pop down to the Purple Penguin, get a bagel, and then go to my audition. So they've been there a really long time. Lovely local business. Look at this cute bookstore, Queen Books. Absolutely love how they've done the outside of this shop. Super aesthetic. And I think they've been here a long time as well. I remember seeing them a lot. Alright. Yeah, this is Logan Avenue. There's the Purple Penguin. I would love to visit Cape Breton. That was the one part of Nova Scotia that I really wish I would have seen. Aw. Thank you so much to Costas World of Music, Harriet, Jim, and Yuki. Thank you, guys. Will you be celebrating Halloween in costume? You know, guys, I was initially planning on doing that, because I think some of my friends here in Toronto will be celebrating the weekend, you know, before Halloween, because Halloween falls on Tuesday. So, you know, most people will party on like the Saturday before. but I'm actually going to be on a filming trip to most likely Blue Mountain because I got a really cool sponsorship in that area. So because I have that going on, I'm not going to be here for that weekend, so probably I won't be dressing up in costume. And you know, it's just as well because I don't particularly want to spend a whole bunch of money on something that I'm going to wear just once and I can't bring it with me to Southeast Asia. I think if I actually lived in Toronto and I had a whole proper wardrobe to choose from and could maybe keep my costume for another year, it'd make more sense. But because I don't really have anything in my wardrobe that I could wear as a costume, don't really see the point. So sadly won't be dressing up for Halloween this year, but would love to another time. Let me flip here. I think we are officially in, or no, actually no, I was about to say we're in Riverside, but the sign actually says Leslieville, so officially we're still in Leslieville. We're gonna keep on going though. This is a really famous Mexican restaurant, Barrio. I've been here a few times. They have a lovely outdoor patio, great for the summer. We got Jimmy Simpson Park over here. There's some really nice tennis courts and basketball courts here for people to play on. Who's in North Battleford but is Colombian. That's amazing. You sure are far from home if you chose North Battleford. That is a real proper local place to live in Saskatchewan. Good for you. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, it's hard to read. Adenilso asks, where's my dad? Since he will be joining me for Southeast Asia. He's in Saskatchewan, that's where he lives. So I will actually be meeting him in the airport here in Toronto when we're flying to Southeast Asia. We're on the same flight going there, but obviously he has to fly from Saskatoon to Toronto. So, Jesus, that is reckless driving. Oh my God. Is that really necessary? Yeah, so my dad has his flight at like 5:30 in the morning, something crazy like that, because it does take like 4 hours to fly to Toronto. So he'll get here at like 11 a.m. and then our flight is at, I think, 12 or something. We're flying through Tokyo and then to Hanoi. It is going to be a long day. Actually, I'm probably going to film it because, especially for my dad coming from Saskatoon, but from Toronto to Tokyo, it is 14 hours. 14 hours. Like, I guess I should expect that considering from Vancouver it's how many? 8 or 9. It's 8 or 9 hours to Tokyo. So of course, flying across Canada, that direction, that's going to add a lot of time, but that's going to be a hell of a flight. Probably the longest flight that I've done in a very long time. So pray for me. And then in Tokyo, we have, I think, like an hour or two as a connection. Hopefully we make it. And then we got another 7 hours to Hanoi. And we get in at like 11 p.m. So it's going to be a long travel day to get to Southeast Asia. But that was kind of the best option available for the price. Because for the price, especially from Saskatoon, I think my dad's ticket cost like, maybe actually we paid the same. I think we more or less paid the same, which doesn't make sense because it should be then less expensive from Toronto, but I digress. I think we both paid about like 900 Canadian dollars. You know, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's Canadian dollars. So in US, that'd be like $700. So like 700 US, maybe even slightly less to fly to Southeast Asia from North America. Like that's not bad. And it's with good airlines too. So it's going to be a long day though. Did I miss a super chat from Harriet, Jim, and Yuki again? Or no, that was the old one. Okay. My stream here, I think, is having some issues, but yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna flip the camera here. Look at this pretty street. We've got a really famous restaurant slash bakery, the Bonjour Brioche Cafe. That has been here for a very long time and is one of a few different popular breakfast places here on the east side of town that if you come to anytime between even 9 a.m. to like 1 p.m., you will see like a line snaked out all the way out there. Like it's an hour to 2 hour long wait if you come in those times. Ridiculous. The most famous offender is Lady Marmalade, which we'll actually be walking by later, and probably my favorite breakfast spot here in the East End. Like I will say, the hype is real. Lady Marmalade has some of the best eggs Benedict that I've ever had, and actually for a fairly reasonable, price nowadays for Canada, it's worth it. But if you don't go before 9 a.m., like you will be waiting for such a long time. So I'll show you guys where it is in a minute. But another staple here in the East End that also you should try and go to when it's not too busy is Boxcar Social. This is their Riverside location, obviously. I think their most famous one is on like Yonge Street, kind of near, I guess it'd be Rosedale Station or Summer Hill. That's my favorite location of theirs, but this one is also really nice. They have really good coffee, so a great place to grab a drink. Aw, thank you so much for the super chat once again, Sarah. Have you been to Sapa in Vietnam? If not, I highly recommend you check it out. Thank you so much, and yes, I absolutely will be going to Sapa. That was like literally one of the top reasons of why I wanted to just stick to northern Vietnam for this trip, because there's just so many beautiful places in the north that excuse me, that we didn't get to last time, and Sapa is at the top of that list. So absolutely we will be going to Sapa on this trip. So thank you very much, Sarah, and hope you get to Vietnam very soon. And yes, see, yeah, Tony says that's not bad at all. You're usually looking at least $1,000 for that flight. Yeah, exactly. Like right now, even if I wanted to book something for Southeast Asia in a month or two from now, like maybe you could get lucky with some destination, but overall from what I've seen, it's at least like $1,500 to $2,000, like $2,000 one way. It's nuts now for Southeast Asia prices, and so that's why I booked my tickets so far ahead of time. I think I booked mine back in August or even earlier. Maybe I even booked, no, probably, yeah, maybe even in July or August is when I booked my ticket and was able to get that kind of price, because once you get closer to winter time and you want to go to Southeast Asia from North America, it's nuts. So my dad will still have to get like a ticket back. Probably he's going to go back much earlier than I will, probably in like late March, April, and then I'm probably going to come back to Canada maybe May, early June at the latest. So I'll have to kind of take a look at tickets in the next couple of months of when I'm going to come back, because those prices also tend to be extremely expensive if you don't book them way ahead of time. So that's how it is. Everybody's out for a walk this beautiful sunny day. And thank you so much for all the recommendations of places to visit here in Toronto, guys. I appreciate it. Carnita, another really good Mexican restaurant that I would highly recommend. And then there's a Turkish restaurant right beside it. I actually don't know what this building is. Does anybody know? I don't think, or this, I've never realized that this big, beautiful building is actually a library. I never looked close enough, I don't think. You have to look really close to see library written in the window. I always thought that this was like an abandoned old bank or something, but it is lovely how the city's turned these historic buildings into libraries, because there's a few others in other parts of Toronto that serve as the same. Gorgeous mural of the bee over here. That's one of my favorite things about Toronto, to be honest, is the beautiful artwork that has actually been commissioned by the city in all the different neighborhoods. Really makes things aesthetically pleasing. Okay, now we're officially in Riverside. Maybe that's kind of the division between Leslieville and Riverside. Oh, excuse me, guys. I think I need a drink. My throat's a little bit dry right now. This is, you could say, my area right now. This is more or less where I hang out in the last couple of weeks, and where I'll be for the next couple of weeks is this part of Riverside. And I would say that this would be a lovely place to live, you know. It is quite convenient that you have like the Queen streetcar and buses, and of course you can go up Pape up to the Bloor line. And if they weren't doing so much construction, you used to be able to get a bus or streetcar all the way up to Broadview, where we'll be walking next. So if that wasn't under construction, it would make getting around the city very easy. Good question from Johnny. Do you ever get tired of traveling so much? I certainly do. I absolutely do. And even though I have been traveling, you know, enough the time that I've been here in Canada for the past 5 to 6 months, that is one of the biggest reasons of why I've come back for so long, is because I felt super burnt out from just the fast pace that I had before, and not being able to see my friends and family in person, you know, that much. And just constantly adapting to new places just takes so much, you know, mental and emotional energy on top of the filming that I have to do, that yeah, you definitely need to pace yourself and take breaks to make it a long-term endeavor. Because I love it. Like, I'm going to keep doing it. I love it. It's my dream job. But I need to find a pace that, you know, allows me to kind of have a normal life as well. Very big thank you to Eric Skeens for the super chat. That is so kind of you. Grab a coffee. I absolutely will, Eric. Thank you so much. That is very kind of you. A lot of great coffee shops here in Southeast Asia to do it in. Interesting comments here, guys. Dennis asks, will you visit the distillery winter market this year? I'll be leaving before it gets started, sadly. I think the Christmas market officially gets going late November at the earliest, but I think it's actually December that it's like officially going, and I'm leaving the first week of November, so sadly will not be able to do that this year. Oh, thank you so much for checking in. From Melissa, did they give you answers on your leg pain, Alina? Yeah, so if you guys have been following me for a while, I guess it was about 2-3 months ago that I had a very strange situation where I was having numbness and pain in my left leg, and I actually had it pretty bad when I was, oh, this wind, I don't even know where to stand. When I was doing a live stream of Lower West area, and yeah, it hung on for like 2 to 3 weeks, and I did go to the doctor. They ran a whole bunch of tests, and luckily, you know, everything came back, you know, overall good, no problems, nothing to suggest it's something really serious, but it was still going on. So the doctor basically said to me that, like, you know, it could actually just be a viral reaction from the time that I was sick right before it happened. He said sometimes these sorts of things happen where like the body kind of just has a weird autoimmune reaction, or yeah, from stress, as Ali says there. So he said, you know, if it doesn't clear up in the next couple of weeks, like come back and, you know, we'll do more tests. We might have to do an MRI. So luckily within those 2 weeks, it got better by a substantial amount. Like it was still there, but it had improved so much that I was like, okay, you know, I'm gonna hope that this is nothing serious, and let's just see, you know, how it evolves in the next few weeks. And then maybe 3-4 weeks after, it got substantially better, and now I haven't had it at all. So I don't know what that was. I don't know what for sure caused it. I hope it doesn't come back. I hope it was nothing serious, but it was such a scary thing to go to because it's such an unnatural feeling, right? To have numbness come out of nowhere and this like weird tingling pain kind of feeling. I don't know what that is. It was very strange. So thank you for asking, Melissa. I appreciate it. Thank you very much to Daryl, your West Coast Canuck. Here's a little something stronger than coffee. Thank you so much, Daryl. That will definitely cover something stronger than coffee. Thank you so much, and hope you are doing great. Great to see all of you guys here. We already got 169 people in here right now. Amazing. And thank you so much to Ellie for coming out. Beautiful day there. So lovely to see you here. Thank you so much. And Mulvey, my friend, fellow YouTuber, thank you so much for coming out. Rob Ned, thank you so much for the very generous super chat. That is so kind of you. Hope you are doing well. You guys are so sweet. What the hell? It's okay. See, this is one of the things that really bothers me about Toronto is it's with the buses and the streetcars always. You'll never have this with the subway. Is like you'll have a gap of like 15-20 minutes waiting for a damn bus, and then you'll have like 3 buses all at the same time. Like you guys couldn't stagger those a little bit better? Like I don't get it. I don't understand how, you know, this kind of thing happens all the time in Toronto, where you'll have huge gaps of transit and then like 3-4 buses all at once. Like it makes no sense. Anyways, all right, so the reason I stopped here is this lovely place, the Broadview Hotel. I have not stayed here personally in the hotel, but I hear it's lovely. But what I wanted to point out to you guys is that on the rooftop, you can't even really, I think, fully see it because it's kind of hidden behind there, is a fantastic rooftop restaurant called The Rooftop. And obviously you get a fantastic view of the area. They have really lovely cocktails, and it's just a great place to grab a drink. So if you are in the East End, and especially at night, and you want a really nice view, would highly recommend The Rooftop at the Broadview Hotel. All right, moving forward. So we are going to walk up Broadview here, all the way to the Danforth, which is a journey. See, we're already at an hour for this live stream, and then I want to also show you, the Danforth itself. So guys, we still got like a good half hour ahead of us. Buckle in. Really showing you the east side of the city today. So if I would have added on the beaches area, like, my God, for sure 3 hours. For sure a 3-hour long live stream if we were gonna go all the way out there. But actually, the video that I did on the east side, that I released probably about a month ago now, that's exactly what I did in one day. I showed everything and like walked everything that I'm showing today in this live stream, plus all the way to the beaches and even further on the Danforth. And I think in that day, I walked like 35,000 steps or something like that. It was ridiculous. So if you want a marathon walk, that's a route you can do. And yes, Shiva Balan, we will be seeing Riverside Park. But I thought it's actually called Riverdale Park. Am I wrong in that? I thought it was Riverdale Park. That's on that side. Just reading your comments here, guys. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, that wind. Holy moly. That is strong. The architecture, of not only this area, but these sorts of like almost Victorian brick style townhouses, and it's usually two, right? It's like two together, is like so synonymous to me with Toronto. Like, this is one of the most common sorts of homes, not condos, but homes that you will see in the city. And what I wonder is, why did they initially choose this style? Because these buildings, I would assume, are at least 100 years old. So why did they choose this particular style of building to be so prominent all over Toronto as like the residential ideal for people, instead of, detached homes or some kind of multiplex? And does anybody want to guess how much the average townhouse like that would cost? They are spacious enough. A lot of them are, quite spacious. It's the size of a small detached home. So it's by no means small, but does anybody want to guess in the comments how much, one of those would cost? Just like the one side. Ali says 800,000. Rob says 950,000. Johnny says 1.5 million, and I'm saying in Canadian dollars as well. So I'm gonna assume you guys mean Canadian. Eric says 1.2. Jim says 1.8. David says 750,000. 750,000. Sarah says 1.2. Alex says 2 million. I mean, the really fancy ones, oh yeah, it could actually get to that. So I'm just like ballparking a general sort of figure, because of course it will depend on so many factors, like the neighborhood, like the condition that the home is in, and the interior upgrades that they've done. But on a whole, this is, I guess, a semi-detached house. Minimum, I would say, like 1.3 million Canadian dollars. Because I think the figure right now for a detached home in Toronto is like 1.6, 1.7. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Because there's not even, like the top, anybody in less than the top 10% of people in Toronto couldn't even qualify, remotely in the ballpark of qualifying for that mortgage. So it's like, who is buying real estate for those kinds of figures. It is absurd. Because in no way it's worth it. Like, it's no way that, you know, these nice, but like, to be honest, kind of old, you know, homes in nice but not phenomenal neighborhoods of Toronto are worth like, you know, $1.5 million if it's really well designed on the inside. Like, it's insane. I don't get it, guys. I don't get it at all. But that is why I am leaving. One of the, sadly, many reasons that I don't think that staying in Toronto and, you know, even Canada in general, for me anyway, makes sense right now. Who knows in the future? Maybe there will be a reason that I'll decide that this is the place that I want to live and hopefully can afford. But at this point in time, when I am able to work remotely and love to travel and, you know, have opportunities to potentially invest in real estate in other parts of the world where it is substantially less, I just don't see why on earth I would put myself into so much debt trying to get a basic ass condo here in Toronto. Like, it doesn't make sense. So we're coming up to a very, very important place, guys. One of my top favorite picks here in the city. And see, the line isn't even that long because we're already at like 3 o'clock. Oh, I'm sorry about the wind. It is Lady Marmalade. This is one of my favorite restaurants in Toronto, one of the best places for breakfast in the city, and I think they close down at 3, so keep that in mind. Like, they have very short hours, so try and come either right before they close or right when they open to have the highest to have the highest chance of actually getting in. So would highly recommend, guys. And for anybody wondering what's on the menu there, it is more or less your regular breakfast classics. Like, you got, let me flip the camera here. Of course, my personal favorite, eggs. Holy moly. You got eggs Benedict. They have your basic breakfast plate where you choose the kind of eggs you want, sausage, you know, bread, fruit salad. But then they also got, like, I think a really good French toast. They got some kind of banana bread dish. Just a lot of really good stuff. And then they also have a bit of a lunch menu as well, so you can go there for breakfast or lunch. They're just closed for dinner, but so good, so good. And now we are actually coming up into another interesting neighborhood here in the East End that, unless you really lived in Toronto, you probably wouldn't come out here and wouldn't know about this neighborhood, because it's Chinatown East. Most people will have heard of Chinatown West, that's on Spadina, right near Kensington Market, and that one is much more extensive and, you know, has way more restaurants and shops. But here in the East End, there's also a little Chinatown with some, you know, different local businesses, and is just much more of a local place to hang out in. So if you wanted to see a quieter part of Toronto that, you know, is a cultural neighborhood, this would be a lovely place to go. Well, that's very sad. Rob Ned, are you talking about how many hours a person has to work to be comfortable living in Canada? The 7 days a week, 4 10-hour shifts, and 3 12-hour shifts. Jesus, yet still not enough. Oh my God, that sounds like way too much. Way too much for one person to work, which is just crazy. Yeah. Here we are, guys. This is Chinatown East. This is actually where I go to get my groceries, or at least my produce, because this is fairly close to where I live. That's the one negative about the East End, is you don't have a proper grocery store really within close walking distance. There's like little stores where you could get a few things, and then there's like a food basics and a no frills, but that's like 20 minutes up, kind of on Gerrard where we are right now. So that's one negative about living on Queen Street East, is you don't have a really good grocery store within walking distance. And I actually didn't realize that before I went here. There's another library that's actually quite nice. Once again, in one of the historic buildings. This is the Riverdale branch. Scotiabank is also in a beautiful historic building. I'm just gonna flip around here. So this is the other street here. This is Gerrard Street. And this is actually the street that I really like to go get my groceries on. There's a few really good restaurants down here. It's kind of out of the way for where we're gonna go, so I'm not gonna go down here. But yeah, this is the continuation of Chinatown East. And if you keep going east on Gerrard, that is what will lead you to Little India, the Gerrard Grand Bazaar, also as it's known. So that's another cool neighborhood to check out in the East End. I featured it a little bit in my East Side video as well. But we are going to keep heading north here. We are going to pass Riverdale Park, which has an incredible view of downtown Toronto, one of my favorite views actually in the city. And then that will lead us to the Danforth, to Greektown. And yes, BNF Trader, you are correct that East Chinatown is generally cheaper than West Chinatown. Because I think, you know, there is just probably a higher rent being right downtown. So probably the shop owners do have to charge more for being in that location compared to here. So if you want the lowest prices, Chinatown East is overall the better option. The Presbyterian church here. You know what I wonder? Maybe you guys can comment on this. I wonder if religion on a whole will become more and more obsolete as time goes on. You know, because I think with Christianity anyway in North America, there definitely used to be a higher percentage of the population that would go to church, that, you know, were real believers and, you know, supported those sorts of groups. But now I think a lot of, you know, people are more or less, well, what's actually the word for people that aren't religious? Can't think of it off the top of my head, but not agnostic. What's the other word? Well, anyways, not religious. And I wonder that if in time religion, will become less and less of a, you know, guiding light for people in time, because way back in the day that really was, you know, the government and the social kind of chokehold on people that guided everything was religion. But now, you know, there's so many different religions and lots of people who aren't religious, so I wonder if it'll just die out in time. Atheists, thank you, Melissa. That's the word I was looking for. Like, I have nothing against religion, first of all. Like, I think if it helps you and it makes you a better person, I think it's great. I only have a problem with it when people use it in like self-righteousness and to then do violence or other terrible things against people who they believe are wrong. Obviously then I'm against using religion in that name. But if it makes you a better person and it's something you truly believe deep inside, like, great, like, I got no problem with that. Personally, I would not consider myself religious, spiritual, I guess you could say, but not to the degree where I'm gonna, you know, go to some kind of meeting or something every Sunday, or not believe in other points of view. Not to that extent. Isn't this house enormous? Holy moly. That is a big boy. Beautiful houses though. But I wonder, like, when these houses were first built, was this for just one family? Like a family of, I guess, 8 kids? Because why in the world would you need this big of a house unless you had a big family? Or maybe they are apartment buildings, I don't know. That is huge. We're gonna cross the street here, friends. Even though I don't like this wind that we have blowing here right now, I do like that it's kind of shaking the trees a little bit, so then you get these pretty leaves flying everywhere. Fall is definitely one of my favorite times of the year. Yeah, there was definitely much bigger families back in the day, that's for sure. Now we have basically the opposite, where not most, but a lot of people are choosing not to have kids, either for personal reasons or, to be honest, like, it's so expensive nowadays to have children that it's in a way much harder to have a family now than it was probably, 100 years ago, even though they had a much more challenging life environment to live in. Actually, I was gonna go down here, but I think we're gonna go over here, guys. Holy, I'm so sorry about this wind if it's messing up the audio. It is just so strong right now. Now maybe it's dying down. Holy hell, that was intense. Wow. Okay, that's not the view yet, guys. I gave you a peek, but that's not yet the view. The better view is further on down here. But I wanted to point out that this right over here is one of my absolute top favorite cafes in the whole city, primarily because it is across the street from this amazing view, but also the coffee is great, the cafe is cute, lots of people hang out there. That is Rooster Coffee, one of their many locations in the city, but this is obviously my favorite location, so if you're in this area, I would recommend grabbing a coffee from there. And we'll get to the view in just a minute here.
Still have a little bit of germ contact.
No, Jim, I'm not able to control the weather. So sad, unfortunately. Oh boy. Ooh. You guys are talking about how much it costs to raise a kid. Johnny says about $250,000 per kid through 18 years of age. That is around the figure that I was seeing online as well. Of course, it depends, where you live and if you choose to put your kids in like extracurriculars and, buy them brand new clothes, all of that jazz. But yeah, I think that is a fair number. Some people might even spend double that on one kid if they put them in like private schools and all the activities, and buy them a car, let's say, when they turn 15, 16. Like, if you have 4 kids, that's $1 million. That's $1 million right there. And of course you can't put a price on family and love, but for some people with the high cost of living, like, it's just not an option. Like, you just can't afford to have a child. So for those people that want to have a child, it's extremely sad that they're basically priced out of the experience. But this is the view, friends. Look at this gorgeous view of downtown Toronto. Look at that skyline. That is beautiful. This is absolutely one of my favorite parts of the city. And in the summertime, this area will be really busy, especially like after 5 p.m. after everybody gets off work, or at least it used to be when I lived here. People would get like picnic blankets, and somebody would usually like have live music going on here. Like, this would be a great place to hang out in the evenings when you didn't feel like a tornado was blowing through you. So just wanted to give you a view of Riverdale Park. Also, obviously they got a running track. People bring their dogs here. There's a baseball diamond. Super, super nice. Highly recommend. Alright. I'm gonna attempt to get out of this wind tunnel, but to be honest, I don't quite know how. Because I still gotta make it all the way up to the Danforth. So bear with me, guys. Orthodox church, some kind of Ukrainian church. I just don't know the denomination, but what a unique looking church, right? Very different sort of shape and steeples to it. Actually, one thing I wanted to mention, for anybody wondering, so the CN Tower, the most famous tower in Toronto, is on Front Street, right? And that's more or less, I don't know, 2-3 blocks away from the waterfront. So obviously Lake Ontario is like down there, but where it ends, what the last towers you guys see, that is Bloor Street. So that goes all the way across here, and once it goes over the bridge, it turns into the Danforth, where we are going to be going. Oh God, make that one stop. And then right there is the Aura building, which is the highest residential building in all of Canada. It's like 60 some stories. So just wanted to make those references for anybody kind of wondering, like, okay, well then why does it suddenly end here? It ends there on Bloor Street, and then you kind of don't get any super tall buildings until you get to Eglinton, which is like, I don't know, 4 or 5 subway stops away on the Yonge line on like up Yonge Street. That's the next place where you'll see a lot of high rises. And then oh my gosh, and then if you keep like going north all the way kind of like to Finch area, around there you will also get kind of like another downtown as well with lots of skyscrapers, but that's really far north. Daryl asks, has the one tower been completed yet? No. And funny enough, I was actually watching kind of a news segment on YouTube about that yesterday, where this is this beautiful project that they have been working on for such a long time. And I think it's already 2 or 3 years in, but they've ran into so many roadblocks and so many problems that now it's still delayed by another year or 2, and is going to cost like $600 million more. Like, it's already a 1.3 or $1.4 billion project, and now they're saying, oh, we need almost another $1 billion to finish it, and like so many years late. So I don't know how that works for for the people who already invested in it. Like, obviously they're probably going to be pissed that the condo isn't ready in the time that they hoped it would be, but then who's going to cover all these additional costs as well? So that's what I've heard about the project. If anybody has any updated info, put it in the comments. We got some lovely tennis courts over here. That's actually really nice that they have that right here. This would be a great place to play. Very nice. The heck. Once again, having weird issues with my super chats coming up properly. Rob, I saw that you obviously sent a super chat before, but did you just send another one? Because for some reason you're... What the hell was that? Just almost stabbed myself with my glasses. Rob, I don't know if you sent a super chat again or if it was just the last one. So if you sent another one, I don't see any kind of extra message. Thank you so much. But please put in the comments if you did send a message, or it might be the first one you sent. I don't know. I just had a thing come up with your name flashing, so not sure what's going on my end, sadly. All right. So we're getting closer and closer to the Danforth. We are almost there, guys. Oh, okay, that was your last one. Okay, good. Thank you for clarifying. Don't know why it does that. Or Toxic says, weird question, but after visiting so many places, what are your thoughts about Toronto? Well, I mean, I feel like I have talked about the negatives probably already enough, in the sense of it's extremely expensive for what you're getting, and, with the uptick of crime and, things are just not as well kept as before. I just don't think it's as nice of a city as it used to be for the price that they're asking. But having said that, one sec. But having said that, as I'm about to leave in the next couple of weeks, I am a bit sad. Like, I'll be honest, I'm a bit sad to be leaving because primarily, I do have friends here. I do have a whole social network that I built up here when I lived here for 7 years, really before I went full-time with YouTube. So it is just so true that it's the people, primarily that make the place that, that you remember most of all. But outside of that, I also do love just how diverse this city is. I love how different the neighborhoods are. There is so much to do. There are so many great restaurants. The people on a whole are very friendly for a big city, especially. Some people think that Toronto people are quite pompous, but I mean, maybe a little bit, but overall, I think the people are very nice. And I have had just so many great experiences living in. I feel like I'm walking into a wall of wind, guys. I'm sorry. Trying to keep it together, but holy God. So I have had such a great time living in this city, and it has been wonderful to spend the last couple of months here, and I am sad about leaving. And I will be back. Like, obviously I will be back to visit, but I think this trip, at least for the time being, really solidified my belief that this is not the right place for me to live, at least in the next 5 years. Way too expensive for what it is. And if I had to live here under the circumstances, with just where I am, financially and work-wise right now, it just doesn't make sense. And I would be so stressed. Like, I would be so stressed to make the payments I need to live just a basic life. Like, it wouldn't even be a fancy life. I would probably either be in like a basement, 1-bedroom apartment, or have to have roommates, you know, for like basically $1,500 a month. I'd have roommates. Or yeah, I could get a 1-bedroom apartment for $2,500 a month. I'd maybe ever so slightly qualify. Actually, maybe I wouldn't even qualify because I write off so much stuff, and then my income isn't very high. So I'd just be stressed all the time. So it doesn't make sense for me at this point in time in my life. And when I have the option to work remotely and keep doing this channel, you know, I can live a substantially better lifestyle in so many other parts of the world. And you know, for that I feel so blessed, because not everybody is able to leave. So I don't know if YouTube will last forever. I don't know, you know, if I'll want to, you know, keep doing this lifestyle forever. But for the time being, I absolutely do. I think there's a lot of potential in what I'm doing, and at the same time, I think there's also a lot of benefit in potentially getting a residence, you know, in another part of the world. And I'm not going to get too into it right now in this live stream, but in this next year, you will probably be seeing a lot more content about potentially, and I'm going to say potentially, I'm not, you know, saying anything in stone, but potentially, you know, moving abroad, setting yourself up in another country, and, you know, just what kind of options people have if they want to make that kind of jump. So that's going to be next year's content. But until then, I will be exploring Southeast Asia, and I don't know, maybe those videos alone will make you guys think of moving there. So it's always good to be aware of other opportunities, right? Because for some people, Toronto is the opportunity. For some people, moving from other places, like, this is the dream. This is the place to visit. And they create great careers and find the right opportunities for them here in Toronto. But for me personally, I just don't think it would be worth it. So I will not be staying here, long story short. Bit of a tangent, but that is my opinion on Toronto. All right, let me flip the camera here as I read your comments, because we are just about to hit the corner of the Danforth and Broadview, and the start of Greektown in a way. Helen asks, Alina, is the Broadview bus still running, or is it rerouted for construction? Yeah, it's rerouted. It's such a bother, because every time I want to get to the Bloor line, either I have to go to Pape and catch like the 72 that goes up to Pape, and then if I'm going downtown, you know, that's the opposite direction, or usually what I do is I walk up half an hour all the way from Queen to get on the subway at Broadview, because there is no bus. Very annoying. It's like they just suddenly decided this year that we're going to do construction on everything in Toronto. Like, why they couldn't just pick a few select spots, get those done, and then move on to the others is beyond me. Or where's this guy going? Oh, Castle Frank. I don't know where that bus is going. Definitely not going to Queen. That's weird. All right. Because also, like, right as you can see on Broadview there, they're putting in, I think, like, new tracks or something, so the streetcars can't even go into the station right now as well. That's an interesting comment from Tony Rain, saying, I believe that all YouTubers should take full advantage of YouTube because nothing ever good will last. Not to be pessimistic, but I just read the book, Who Moved My Cheese, and we must be ready to evolve. That is very true, but to be fair, that's not just with YouTube. I think that's any kind of job, And for a while I used to say maybe, oh, other than doctors or other than police officers, but like, who knows? Who knows in the future what kind of technology we're going to have, or how we choose to deal, you know, with problems, or just what kind of state society is going to be in. We really don't know what kind of jobs could at any point become obsolete. Like with this change with, you know, AI technology, even in just like the last couple of years, you know, how many different industries it has affected and how many people are now out of a job. You know, as people say, oh, you know, YouTube, that's not a real job. That's not going to be something you can do forever. But to be honest, that's a lot of jobs. So everybody has to be ready to pivot if and when something changes or some kind of technology comes in that makes your job obsolete. Like, you got to be ready to potentially do something else. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, I think these guys are like camping out for tickets or something. This is the Danforth Music Hall. I don't even know what's going on. I think they must be like camping out for things. I have no idea. All right. Oh, sorry. All right. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think there's any artist or like any person that I like enough. I mean, as in like a celebrity figure, not like my own family, obviously. There's no like celebrity that I like enough to like camp out, you know, sometimes for 24 hours, like some people have to do to like get tickets or like, you know, get front row seats or something like that. I don't like anybody that much that I would do that, especially on like a cold day like this, like, and then pay hundreds of dollars on top of that. Like, I'll just watch them from the comfort of my own home, like on YouTube or something. I definitely don't understand like the whole celebrity hike. Like, they are just people, you know, like they're very talented people, but they're just people. All right, so we're officially on the Danforth, and to be fair, we're not officially, I don't think, in Greektown just yet, because there is a sort of banner sign that goes across the road, welcome to Greektown, when you're officially in Greektown. So that will be coming up shortly. But yeah, this is also a lovely part of Toronto, and that I think would be a great area to live in if you wanted that more quiet and family-friendly lifestyle in Toronto, but also be on the subway line. That's really the biggest bonus. Whoops. That's really the biggest bonus of being on the Danforth and Bloor line, is you are on a subway line and can get to a lot of places in the city much faster. You're not depending on traffic or them shutting down the subway or the bus lines. Of course, they can also shut down the subway lines, but it's less common compared to buses. So in a way, living up here would be a bit more convenient than down on Queen Street East, at least in my opinion. Just reading your comments here, guys.
Oh, did you bring it back?
So, whose comment here I saw? Burku, if I'm saying your name properly, says, I live in Turkey. If I would earn 70,000 in Toronto, would you recommend I move there? I mean, it depends on a lot of factors. If you're going to be sharing your rent with like a significant other, or if you're okay with roommates, then yes, you could probably get by in Toronto. But to be honest, even though that is like a good wage, you know, on what planet is 70,000 Canadian dollars not a good wage? Obviously it is, but unfortunately, $70,000 does not get you that much in Toronto. Like, there's no way that you're gonna buy real estate or get, you know, a mortgage for that amount on your own. You would definitely have to have a partner who's making, you know, at least that amount, if not more. So $70,000, I would actually say, is the minimum amount of money that you need to just get by in Toronto. So it kind of depends on whether the potential opportunities are worth it for you. That is a really great area just in front of us, guys. I used to actually come down here when I was on my real vegan and like healthy wellness kick. I would go to the Carrot Common, where they have a lot of different, you know, protein powders and like vitamins, and then they have an actual grocery store there that has a lot of really good produce and just a lot of really healthy food. So it is a bit expensive, but really lovely grocery store, and I'm glad that they have survived. Another great place, and it's one of many in Toronto, is Fresh, which is a vegan restaurant, but it is delicious. Like, even people who are, you know, meat eaters and don't really like the regular kind of vegan food, I bet you they would find something at Fresh that they would really like. So that's one of my favorite vegan restaurants in the city. Got a really lovely Thai restaurant up here, Chiang Mai. Speaking of which, that's the area of Thailand that my dad is gonna be once again spending some time solo in. He really liked it when we were there last time, and that's the place that I basically left him, because I knew that, like, okay, you know, it's not too big of a city, it's very safe, people are so nice, I'm sure he'll be fine on his own there. And thankfully he was. So we'll be exploring Southeast Asia for about 2.5 months together, and then he is going to head off on his own to Chiang Mai for a couple of months, and then I'm going to continue on and do my own thing, because as he said himself, the way I travel is super intense and it's very, you know, challenging for him. So it's better after a few months for him to just, you know, be in one place and not be moving at such a fast pace all the time. So that was that. We are just about to enter Greektown, as you can see by the sign and all the Greek flags that will be coming up. There's a lot, understandably, of great Greek restaurants in this area. I'll try and point out a few of my favorites to you guys. Oh boy, look at those pretty wedding dresses, so nice. You got a psychic advisor in the neighborhood here. Got Mega's restaurant. Where the heck is my gyro place? Thought my gyro place was right here, but maybe it's further on down here. Pantheon, I was gonna say Pantheon, that's in France. The Pantheon is supposed to be a really good Greek restaurant. This is one that I haven't been to yet, but has very good reviews and was actually on my list for my video, but was not what I ultimately chose. Oh, there's my restaurant. Just coming up here in a second. Thank you so much to Juliet for your comment. I'm very proud of my dad as well. He did very good. To be honest, I was nervous at first I was nervous because the guy had so many issues understanding how Google Maps works. Like, he'd be fine to put in the place, but then to actually follow the map, because you gotta understand in which direction it's like showing you to go. And he had issues with that. Like, he had real issues with Google Maps. So I'm like, I'm gonna leave this man alone in Southeast Asia, and he can't even use Google Maps. Like, oh dear God. But he got the hang of it. He even learned how to use Grab, and yeah, he got it all before I left him. So he did very, very good for a senior citizen, especially. All right, so this is one of my favorite places. You guys probably saw it in one of my videos, but this is Messini, family-run business that has been here a really long time. They have fantastic gyros, very authentic, and it's like, I don't know, less than $10 for an enormous one. So very great place for budget-friendly meals. One of my favorites, but the fancier sort of Greek restaurants that I like are further on down here. And I think we'll probably have to cross the street as well here in a minute. They actually have a really beautiful fountain and little garden area up here as well. Let's cross the street and I'll show you guys. Lots of great fruit stores as well. As a tip of living in Toronto, almost always these kinds of stores have way better prices for produce than like Loblaws or even No Frills, and the quality is much better. So if you can, go to these kinds of stores for your produce. So cute. Oh no, I guess since it is already fall time, the fountain is no longer working, but in the summertime this is actually a beautiful fountain that they have here. And I'm not sure who the statue is of, but obviously somebody very important in Greek history. Let's see. They have a statue too. It says the Marathon Flame, brought from Marathon, Greece on October 11th, 2012. But I don't see a flame. I'm a bit confused. It has, oh, it's a statue of Alexander the Great, but I do not see a flame. Am I missing something? I'm not sure, but either way, lovely little park that they made here. And Alexandros also has really good food, just a little place where you can get some gyros or, you know, a plate of like shawarma kind of meat as well, but not really a fancy sort of restaurant. It is so nice now, guys, that the wind isn't as strong here. Oh my gosh, I'm actually semi-hot. Okay, so this area is great for restaurants. Almost every single place down here is really, really good. I've been to the Friendly Greek before. Very nice. Got like souvlaki, Greek salad. And where is it? Yes, Sula's. So Sula's is one of my favorite places. A bit more high end, but if you're looking for a really nice specialty Greek dinner and some really good Greek wine, this would be one of my top picks. I think somebody actually is having a party in there right now. We are gonna continue on this way. Oh no, I got some bad news, guys. I had gotten a 20% battery warning, I thought only like 10 minutes ago, and now I got a battery warning of 10% left. So I am gonna have to wrap things up here pretty soon. And if I suddenly disappear, because usually I thought it would take longer to get from 20 to 10%, I'm sorry, goodbye. My battery just died, but I do have my battery pack with me, so I will charge my phone after. It's just a little bit difficult to do as it's on a gimbal right now, but I'm almost done Greektown, so it's actually pretty perfect timing, but thought I would let you guys know in case suddenly it does cut out on me. I think as Apple does, you know, the battery does really wear down over time, and even though I've only had this phone for how many years? 2 years now, I think I've had this phone. Like already, you know, by midday, it's like at 60% battery, which is ridiculous. So I guess that's the way it goes, even if you pay $1,500 for a cell phone. Disappointing. All right. It is such a beautiful day out today. If it wasn't for the wind, this would be perfection. The very unique church you see coming up is one of the most famous places in the Greektown area. We'll stop there in just a minute. Doggy groomers, so cute. Ooh, I have not been here, but this just suddenly made me want a Montreal style bagel so bad. Maybe I'll actually go here after my live stream. Has anybody had a Montreal bagel before? They're different. They're different than your regular sort of bagels, but so good. Might have to try that. And thank you, BNF Trader. Yes, I do walk a long way. I think today I will easily clock 20,000 steps, because I also got to walk all the way back. So from here, it'll probably take me like 40 to 50 minutes to get home probably. So, hi. Oh, no thanks, guys. Thank you. Got some cute kids selling apples. Probably like raising money for something. All right, here we are, guys. This is such a beautiful church. So I don't know if I'll be able to pronounce this. Saint Irene Chrysovalantou, maybe. Greek Orthodox Church. So beautiful and in very good condition. I think they've probably poured a lot of money into this church over the years. So there must be a very active community here to do that. Very nice. Aw. Thank you so much to Jim Ross. As always, Jim, thank you so much for coming out to every single live stream and all the support you give my channel. I really appreciate it. Reading your comment here. Thanks for this. Here's a bit for the Greek lunch after all your trekking through Toronto. Thank you so much, Jim. I think I will be getting either a Greek lunch or that bagel. The bagel is still calling my name, so thank you so much for the lovely lunch, and thank you to each and every one of you for coming out today. I really enjoyed this little walk through the east side of the city. Definitely a great, well, we passed many different neighborhoods, but they're all great neighborhoods to live in Toronto. I would actually say that any one of them would be ideal. I think if you kept maybe going like farther east, it might be a bit more tricky to like get to downtown. Like as lovely as the beaches area is, like that would be a nice area to live in the city. But if you didn't have a car, and even if you did have a car, it would take you so long to get downtown. So in a way, I'd say it's better to stick to the kind of closer area of the east side to downtown if you want everything else to be easily accessible. But other than that, all of these areas are absolutely lovely. Let me give you one last view of this area, because just out there, as you can see, is another welcome to Greektown sign, kind of just after Pape Avenue here, and that's kind of the end. Like that's the end of Greektown. So it is between Chester and Pape where Greektown officially lies. Lovely area, great restaurants, and also on the Bloor subway line, so very convenient to get around the city. And that is where I'm going to end the live stream, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and as the name suggests, this will be my last live stream here in Toronto for this trip. Of course, I'll be back, but I'm off to Vietnam in 2 weeks, and next week I'm going to be in Blue Mountain filming. So, and then after that is my last weekend, which I'm sure, you know, I will just have so many things going on to get all packed and ready in time. So I thought I would do this live stream before things get especially crazy. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you've been enjoying the maritime videos. I've actually got 2 more to come out. This Wednesday is going to be the Charlottetown one, which might very well be my favorite, and probably my favorite place in the Maritimes. Highly recommend visiting that lovely city. And then after that, I also have Fredericton, which is very, very interesting of a place. So those 2 will be coming out. Then this one video about Blue Mountain that I'm going to do, and then it's basically traveling to Southeast Asia content that's going to start. So I hope you guys are excited. I hope you've been enjoying the videos so far. I'm sending each and every one of you lots of love, and I will probably do a live stream again in a while from now. It'll probably be like probably a month. If I'm being honest, it's probably going to be a month from now, because when I first get to Hanoi, I'm still going to have, you know, earlier content coming out, so it wouldn't really make sense for me to do a live stream right away. So probably by the end of November is when my next live stream from Southeast Asia is going to be. So I will see you guys then. Sending you lots of love, and keep being your own kind of beautiful. Bye, guys.